Okay, now today's a good video because I want to talk about the topic of delta. Okay, now you see down here at the bottom I have cumulative delta, but we're going to be talking about delta at price or by price. Okay, I recently have kind of been paying real close attention to order flow in the sense of looking at where exhaustion or absorption within the market take place, meaning being able to use delta to identify key areas where the market is basically stacking up on areas of liquidity. You've heard me talk about that term liquidity in the past in reference to looking at price action and where we can see equal highs or equal lows, because those are going to be areas in which we can identify those rotation points or areas where the market is moving sideways or consolidating. You could be able to kind of see that with a naked eye. But cumulative delta, or not, I should say delta by price, is one of those things that you can add to actually see it actually on the charts, I mean visually. Now, most people can take a look at their chart and see that, okay, the market is rotating right here or in rotation, that there's got to be some orders building up in this area here. Yes, by thinking about that as a price action trader, you can see that on your charts. And you don't need to add a bunch of indicators to your charts. And I'm going to say this now, delta is one of those indicators that is actually, as it is forming, meaning as liquidity is forming in a key area on your chart, it's real time. It's not lagging like most of your EMAs, RSIs, MACDs, and all those other indicators. So choosing the right indicators that can give you the behind the curtain scene is something that is really important. I'm going to show you today, and it's just an example of a trade setup that I took going short, and it was all based on the accumulation of orders resting at a key area where the market made, for example, a high, or it could be a low, but in this case it was a high, and then there were offers hitting, okay, at this particular area where a high was being made at, all right, and the market didn't want to break through those areas, so there was absorption being taken place, okay, and wherever there's absorption taking place on the charts, where the market is stacking up and building orders, especially in reference to where you can see at the delta, that is a good area to take a trade from going in the, say for example, the opposite direction. All right, now I kind of couple this and bring this into fold with supply and demand, but all this has helped me increase my overall win rate, and it can help you just as well because it gives you something additional. It helps you see behind the curtain, but you can visually be able to see it on your charts with your own eyes. So let's take a look at that right now. All right, so for example, we can see the market, if you can just pay attention, we're bearish to the downside, making lows, lower highs, lows, lower highs, lows, okay? But then the market turns around, it bounced off of this area of demand sitting over here from, I think Friday's price action, right? And then it starts making these higher highs and higher lows back up to the upside. Now, I'm using both my higher range and my lower range chart. Of course, I'll mark up my higher range zones, when the market pulls back. Like this was a beautiful area at 8 something in the Globex session, overnight session. Market broke structure lower, pull back, and then you have this supply area, for taking opportunity to go short, right? Well, okay, so still using supply and demand, but what I want to show you today is, like, I took a trade, for example, when the market came back into this, you started making these higher highs and higher lows back into the upside, and then we got some rotation right here, all right? As it was moving higher, the market was highs, higher lows, highs, higher lows, slightly higher highs here, coming back, breaking and making a new high here, and then we got some rotation in the area. So what I want to tell you this is, first and foremost, to filter out trades that you can actually take. If you're someone that's saying, hey, I'm interested in looking for opportunities to trade off the 24 range, what should I be kind of looking at, or a lower base chart, range chart, time chart, whatever it may be. Look for key areas where the market is kind of rotating, all right? But trade it within the direction of the market. So even though we're making these higher highs and higher lows, we really haven't started reversing back to the upside. We do have a bullish channel to the upside because I want to see a candle close, meaning when the market is breaking with the candle close above, making a higher low and then a new high to the upside above this high right here. So, so that's going to tell me that the market is pushing. So we made a high here, okay? And then we got a dip back. So this could be a higher low forming. And then we get a structural break to the upside. So I'm still looking for opportunities to go short, even though we have this small, well, I shouldn't say small, but channel to the back to the upside on the higher range chart. Okay. So when I saw the market rotating right here at the top of this area right here, all around about 10:45, close to 11 o'clock. We're going to move down to a lower range chart, but I want to show you the rotation of what it looked like first here on the higher range chart. When you see the market making rotations, okay, and it's basically building up orders right here at the top, and the market doesn't make a new high where it closes above, and then you start to see like delta by price or at price where you're getting a significant increase or amount of delta being built up, then that basically the market is consolidating in the area and delta is starting to grow. That means that there are offers hitting on the books, coming in, but the market is not really pushing higher and closing above. They may be edging a little bit higher, but it's really not pushing with significant force in relation to the amount of delta that is hitting or coming in. You see the delta growth here. So when I see things like that and the market is not moving higher, that's when I start really paying attention to what's really taking place here, because that's absorption that's taking place within the market that most sellers, unless you identify it, won't know what that is. They can say, okay, what's going on here? If we move down to the lower base chart, we see rotation right here, right? Because that's that same area right there. All right. But they don't know, okay, what's really taking place there. They just look at, okay, equal highs, double tops, whatever the case is. And then the market drops to the downside. All right. That's the market being absorbed. Okay. There's absorption taking place here. There are offers hitting, the books there, and the market is not pushing higher. You can see delta over here was increasing positively, but the market wasn't pushing anywhere to the upside. Okay. Just slight little wicks above, and then eventually it comes back down. All right. So at that point, I'm looking, because I'm still short, an opportunity to go or scale or to go short with the market. So, okay. So the market is showing us its hand. So I'll move down to a lower range chart. The market is showing us its hand. That box right there is showing me the weaknesses within the market in relation to what's going on with delta. Positive delta, market's not moving. All right. So I know there's some absorption taking place there. Then the market makes a low, lower high, pushes lower here. Could have taken a trade on this pullback right here to this supply area, but I caught the trade on the next opportunity where it made another run to the downside and pulled back to this high probability supply area here. But I had to be careful because right below us was an area of, I'm going to show you right quick, of demand right here in this area here. So I was looking to take the market back down to fill in the imbalance resting back down on the inside of the zone right here. But taking it off the lower range chart. Okay. So again, a supply setup right here on the lower range, taking it back down to the demand setup, because we have where the market was rotating with aggressive orders coming in. You can see the positive delta coming in, but the market wasn't pushing higher to the upside, meaning, those offers were being actually absorbed and the market moved in the opposite direction back to the downside. Now, if the orders were stacking up here, and then we start to see what the market is just closing above, then that would tell me that, okay, the market with all this delta coming in positive was still trying to push to the upside. Okay. But because it wasn't, it started rotating and consolidating here. The market pushed lower. All right. Kind of the same thing that took place right here. It came down, it tapped into that higher range demand area, it pushed back up to the upside. We got a break and close above this area. So if the market is stacking up right here and building delta, positive delta, and it's not moving higher, you got to think in terms the equal highs. I've talked about this in the past. It's just building liquidity. That's all that is. And eventually, if it's coming back to like a high probability demand zone and it's bouncing off of that, then they may want to go up there and grab that area of liquidity. Once the market grabs an area of liquidity, it tends to move in the opposite direction. So when it came back here, it started doing what again? It started kind of consolidating in a sense, up, down, kind of building up, right here. So we can see, let's see if I can bring this into the fold here. We see positive delta over here, right? So, I'm sorry, negative delta. Negative delta stacking up right there, right? The market does slightly break above here. So when the market comes back here and tests this area again, the delta starts to grow. Negative, okay? We make a lower high. It comes back. It doesn't break above this area here, okay? We're still making, similar highs, whatever the case is, really not breaking higher. And then it comes back down. And then because it can't push through this area of delta up, above here, it then comes back down and it grabs liquidity to the downside where basically the market was rotating or building up negative delta below. Basically, there was sell orders hitting the books there. And the market at first was stalling out to not push lower. So the market was pretty much exhausting, and then the market pushed up. But because we couldn't break higher, this means that liquidity was stacking up here at the bottom, and then they came down and grabbed liquidity from the lows there. Okay, or this basically this leg here to the downside, or this leg coming down, and then when it was pushing back up, this leg back to the upside, they started stacking up on orders right here, negative delta, not pushing any lower. Then it pops back to the upside. There's liquidity resting here with all these lows here, and the market comes down and grabs all of that liquidity. That's how I'm looking at, delta at price to be able to help me out in my trading, okay, as well. I don't really need it. I'm just telling you that it does add more level of confluence for all those that maybe needed something a little bit more. Now, is delta by price or delta at price, however you want to call it. Just adding it to like the volume profile to be able to see at key areas where the market may be consolidating, moving sideways, like even right here. It made this high going back to the upside, right? Okay, there was consolidation taking place right here. The market came back down, right? And then what happened is it went up there and took out these orders right there. Okay, so sometimes the market will react off this area here and then, maybe push back to the downside. But you see they broke above here. Okay, they took that area out. So they took that area out. So it really didn't hold. Sometimes you'll see where it builds up liquidity right here, or builds up by consolidating, and the delta starts to grow. If you look here to the right, you can't see it anymore, but because it was already taken out. But they go up there, and then it may react off that area because they weren't pushing higher when they started consolidating right here. Comes down, they go back up, test it, and then maybe the market will come back to the downside, as you see, right? But in this case here, they push right through that area, so you just have to be, be careful. But again, they were still reacting off of this, basically this demand area right here. You can see it right here. And there was a round number of 500 in this area here too. So they were reacting pretty hard there. And you have this low where they came back into, pushed up, pulled back, broke higher, it's coming back again. So the market is consolidating here, and you can see negative delta, and then it's not pushing any lower. So the market must be trying to push higher. And it came up and took out this liquidity right here. So just pay attention to things like that. But again, that's what I'm looking at when it comes to delta at price or by price, to see what's taking place, to be able to find positions but just as a tool to kind of help me or aid me in trading, coupled with supply and demand. Again, we couldn't push any higher here. Yes, we had a demand zone right below us, but still I'm kind of overall, my bias is short. So I'm still looking for an opportunity to go short. And when I saw the market starting off right here, building up, like say, for example, demand right here, not demand, but delta right here, then I look for an opportunity, but I gotta be very mindful of what's resting right below, which was this area of demand right there. So, but yeah, that's how I'm looking at it in a sense, and that's how you can, if you choose to kind of pull it up and use delta. I'm sure there's people that may use it slightly differently than I do, but I'm looking at it as areas where there's liquidity pools that are built up based on consolidation, or where the market starts to move sideways at a area where it may be making a leg to the upside or making a high, or a leg to the downside, and then you have a low, and then it starts consolidating. I'm looking to see how much delta is being built up in those areas, because that delta, if the market stalls as it's growing at a key area, I see a significant increase in delta at an area where it's consolidating. That's basically an area of liquidity that's being a pool of liquidity that's being formed, and at some point the market's going to run that area. Okay, that's how I use it, and that's how you can use it to maybe increase your win rate, but also to increase your success and trying to become consistently profitable as well. So again, I don't need it on my charts. I'm just telling you that because I can see it visually with my eyes, in a sense, what took place, like right here, consolidation, right? Okay, there's got to be liquidity right there. All these equal highs, they're going to want to run that at some point. Okay, when, we don't know, but it makes sense if they came down and tap after doing this and coming down and tapping, say, for example, a high probability, say, demand zone, they may want to go up there and then grab that liquidity, right? So that's how I'm using it. But I appreciate everyone tuning in, watching today's video, as of course. Now, if you're interested in understanding the blueprint, the cornerstone to how I actually trade, and you choose to, you can become an elite or an ultra elite supporter. Very inexpensive. The link is down in the description portion of the video. It's titled Ultra Elite Supporter. Once you click on that, you see 3 tiers pop up. Choose either the elite or the ultra elite tier. As you click on each one, you'll see the perks and rewards that you receive. With the elite supporter, you receive all my trade breakdown videos, which are tons of them there, to where I go in great detail about the trades that I post over on the Discord. I break it down using the strategy and how I trade, using multi-chart confluence, surrounding supply and demand. But I also talk about stop loss placement, profit target areas, structure, price action, so that you understand the strategy as a whole surrounding those type setups that I, on those videos. Also, you receive the video playlist and a great video that I did covering market structure for anyone that's struggling with that concept. If you choose to become an ultra elite, what you receive is everything I just discussed, plus the live recorded trading session videos, which I just dropped one today for the ultra elite supporters, and the market recap videos on top of everything I just said. Okay, the link is down in the description. If you're interested in joining the Discord, the link is down in the description as well. It is free to join. But outside of that, guys, that's all I have. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you have not taken the time to subscribe to the channel, please do so by subbing. Make sure to turn your post notifications on by clicking that bell. And make sure, most important part, drop a like. Click the thumbs up button if you found value in today's video. And, share the video content with people that have interests that you may know, friends, family, colleagues, whoever you may know that may be interested in, the information here on the channel. Take care. I'll see everyone in the next video.